understanding is David and Brianna had time to mediate, but nothing was worked out. Is that correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay, give me 1 minute. All right, so let's see here. We've got David. All right, David, give me a brief overview of why you're here and what you're asking for.
Morning, Your Honor. We are here to recoup our deposit. I believe the legal limitation is 3 times the deposit. We're asking for $6,500. Our deposit was $3,000. There was no invoice or receipts provided to us within 30 days of our move out. That is what we're here to do today.
So you're stating that 1, you didn't get your deposit at all back. 2, you're stating you didn't get no statements on an itemized list of where your deposit money went. Is that correct?
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. And let me ask you, did you leave the the landlord with the forwarding address?
Yes, Your Honor.
You did provide her a forwarding address.
Yes.
Yes, Your Honor.
Do you have proof of that?
No, not paper.
Not on paper, Your Honor. We might.
Well, I can tell you right now, she's already shaking her head and saying, no, you didn't. And
When-
that is a vital point to this, because there's no way she's going to return your deposit if she doesn't know where you live.
When we met with her husband in the walkthrough, he asked what our forwarding address was, and he wrote it down on a piece of paper, and he said he got it.
Okay, and her husband's not here, and I have nothing to go by on that, but your testimony versus hers.
Yes, Your Honor. And the email stating the repairs or claiming wire deposit wasn't given back was 2 days past the timeline for us moving out.
Okay. All right. Go ahead, Brianna, what's going on?
Yeah, so I just went through the lease again and kind of explained in section 17 that it said to maintain the yard. I had 3 trees dead that had been established over 2 years. St. Augustine grass that was gone. She accidentally hit the garage door and that was dented. I used some of the deposit to repair that even while they were there. They offered extra funds, never took it, just used the deposit to fix it. Got quotes on it. I negotiated with them to move out early because they wanted a house. Their contract was supposed to go till October. I had someone scheduled to move in when they were about to come and he bailed on me. He was from Ohio, so I didn't seek any legal prosecution. So I carried the note for my house for about 4 or 5 months until I was able to get someone in. So I held on the repairs till I was able to get someone in because honestly, it was just a lot to carry 2 mortgages. I'm not going to put in any of the trees until after the last freeze, since these tenants just moved in November. It just didn't make sense to me. So I can provide them with receipts, but like I told them, it's probably going to exceed what their deposit was. And a portion of their deposit they knew was non-refundable because of their animals. So they're asking for a portion of the deposit that they knew and signed on that was non-refundable. I did offer them
How much of that was non-refundable out of their 3,000?
I think it was 1,200.
Okay, I don't need, I think. I need to know
I know
for
it was
sure.
1,000 for sure, if not more.
Do you have that contract?
I didn't print the animal contract. I thought I did, but I can send that in.
Okay, all right. Everybody hold on here. All right, so you're claiming that some of this deposit is unrefundable on a contract they signed, but yet you don't have that contract. That is a vital part to your defense.
So I have 2 years of the contract with the majority of the deposit. The one that was unrefundable, I didn't bring because I didn't think it was a point of discussion because when they signed, it was non-refundable.
I understand, but that non-refundable is part of that 3,000 that they're asking, correct?
No, they're asking for 4,000 and something as a part of that deposit. But I just explained to them right now, that wasn't part of the deposit that was refundable. So
Okay,
the pet deposit was non-refundable, and then the deposit for the house was refundable.
How much was the deposit for the house?
3,000.
Okay, all right. And now did you give them an itemized list of where this 3,000 went?
No, that I didn't. I provided them items that I was going to repair, but seeing as I was trying to get someone in and I didn't have anyone, I held up on the repairs until I was able to recoup the funds to actually do the repairs.
Okay, so Miss Brianna, it doesn't work like that. Okay?
Okay.
As a landlord, you don't get to hold the deposit until you're ready to fix whatever you need to fix. The deposit needs to be returned in a certain amount of time, or it needs to be spent on an itemized list in a certain amount of time. You don't get to hold it until you're ready to use it for whenever you want to use it for.
So a majority of it was used. And like I told them, if I were to quantify everything, like the replacing of the trees and the grass, it would have exceeded their deposit. But they were amazing tenants. So I decided not to exceed that because if I would have drawn it up, my husband would have asked me to go back. And I just didn't want to have that conversation with him.
Well, now you're stuck here in this position for trying to be nice or do a good deed. But I need to know where that $3,000 went, and I need an accountability for it. So if you don't have it,
which I can provide. I just didn't bring it with me. I didn't this is my first time. We have a ton of rentals. We have a ton of tenants. We've never had issues with everyone. We always go above and beyond. When they came from California, I went above and beyond with providing them, even with extra resources for their animals, vets. They asked for extra lease copies. I always went up paint colors, asking for plumbers and electricians because they were starting their journey. I provided them above and beyond with everything. So
Okay,
when I was hit with this
understand that.
lawsuit, I was
Brianna,
not expecting it.
I understand that, but you received the lawsuit and you're aware of what it was about, correct?
Correct.
Okay, so why wouldn't you bring all your itemized list of where you spent their deposit if you knew they were suing you?
I have some of them, and within the contract, it didn't meet. I mean, they didn't take care of the trees or the shrubs, which is stated on here, or standing water. It wasn't taken care of, so it's already within the contract that it wasn't complied with.
Okay, I understand that, but as a landlord, you have a specific time of when you're supposed to give that deposit back and an itemized list. Not hold on to the money until you're ready to plant the trees and never tell them where their money went.
Okay, my apologies. This is my first time.
Okay, well, apologies don't exactly work like that. That's why they're suing you. So apologies is not going to be sufficient enough. So in order for you to sustain their security deposit, I need an itemized list of where you spent $3,000. If you have not spent $3,000 and you can't provide it to me now, then they're obligated to get their money back.
Okay, I can provide it to you by end of day.
It needs to be today, ma'am. Today is your court date.
Yes,
unless they're in agreement right now, not end of day. You knew you had court today. You were served with your paperwork today. So Miss David and Haley, are you willing to give her 30-day reset to bring in the paperwork for today, or later on today we have an afternoon docket?
Your Honor, no, I don't believe that's fair. We were all aware of the court date, and we actually drove through the neighborhood in late November 24th. 22nd, Your Honor, and the garage door was still in the same condition that it was when we left. And that was the big bulk of the argument as far as what the repair was going to be. And we did reach out after we received the email about all of the items via text. We have a group chat that was for our house and with Brianna, and we just got no response. That's why we enacted the suit.
Okay, Brianna, give me what you do have of where the security deposit went. Do you have anything?
Yes, I do. I have photos of quotes that I got. I have photos of repairs that I had to do a second time because the garage failed a second time after it being repaired.
I need the invoices of things you have paid, not quotes.
Okay.
What have actually come out of your pocket that has been out of that $3,000.
Okay. I have in that paperwork, it should be the second page.
Also,
I scanned in her.
Hold on.
Hold on.
And then I can provide another. Okay. Can I email the quote or?
And then Christy, you said you put it in the system already, correct?
Yeah. She gave me a stack of papers to scan in.
Those are some of the repairs that we've done on the garage door interiorly. And that's before the replacement. And then,
Hold on 1 minute.
okay. Can I call my husband really quickly?
For what?
So he has receipts. He did some of the work too.
Sure. Because all I see here is just a lease and then pictures. I don't see not one invoice.
Yes, I sent them in and I got an invoice from the garage guy. I took a screenshot of it. It's somewhere in those 72 pictures. Because I took pictures of
I'm
the state
gonna
of
get her email
outside
right now.
after. Inside was fine. Hey, can you send me the invoices for the power cleaning for the garage and the back? And then how much it was when we paid the guys to go to the front and clean up all the dead tree and the dead bush. 'Cause I need it right now. The power washing, the garage, when we pulled out the tree in the front and the bushes in the front. Yeah, and then the lawn outside of it too. But she needs an invoice, so.
How much longer, Brianna?
He said he's working on it right now. And I'm trying to pull up my receipts from the garden. And
Okay, well,
then,
I need you to provide the receipts you do have.
yes, I just did. And then he's sending his shortly.
Okay, so right now I'm looking at a bunch of pictures, but I need invoices. The only invoice I have right now is for garage doors for $385. That's
And then
it.
there's another one for $985. And then he's sending everything, all the work that we did after outside of the trees and stuff, because we haven't completed that part. And my second question would be is if they signed a lease but didn't fulfill it and I didn't send a release.
What do you mean? Say that again?
So I worked out with them over the phone because they had found a house and it was like a mutual agreement, like not in writing, like, hey, I'll work with you. If you want to move out early, as long as I can get someone in, like I just need 30 days, like we're good. And it was an agreement. So I never signed a release. So their contract was supposed to go through October. So technically, according to the paperwork, then it wouldn't have been outside of the time frame of when their deposit was supposed to be returned because their lease was valid through October. And so I took the hit, even though the tenant that I had signed another lease, and I never signed a release for them.
Okay, but you signed a lease for the new tenant for that property, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so that automatically terminated them because you can't have two open leases for one property.
But their start date was after their move out. So it was in July. So that would have been a month or two after they moved out.
Okay, I'm not getting what you're saying.
So I scheduled like a month in between before I had the new tenant move in, even though he never came.
Okay. All right, we're not there yet as far as 3 times the rent and what's going on, because I still have the issue that you don't have a forwarding address. So there's issues on both sides. So I'm just trying to figure out, first of all, where this deposit is and how much has been spent out of it. Right now, all I have is $385 for doors.
I sent 2 more.
I didn't get any 2 more. All I have is the same invoices for garage doors and a bunch of text messages. Text messages are not invoices.
Okay.
We're getting the emails right now, and I made a new event with exhibits from the plaintiff.
Okay. And then plaintiff, I see you raising your hand. What's going on?
Yes, Your Honor. We moved out when we were told to move out. We did have the agreement, and we asked several times for our early termination contract that she promised to send over several times, along with the garage door invoice. When is that dated for? Is that for after we moved out, or was that the initial repair of when it initially happened?
I got 210 garage doors. This was on March the 23rd, 2023.
The only one that was after is the red one because we had to get a new garage guy. Because the same issue happened again.
What was 2822?
That's the invoice for the power washing outside, the cutting, the removal of the trees, the cleaning of the garage.
For
And then,
$28?
no, I don't know what he sent.
I just scanned in a receipt right now, that it was itemized under the exhibits from defendant.
Okay, let me open up that.
And the only one that was done after is because the garage had the same issue, which is why we terminated our garage guy, is the one for 150 for the garage. Should be another invoice for 985.
Okay, so I have, who's Blue Rock?
My husband, it's our company.
Okay, so your husband either one just prepared this just now, or I don't know how he's doing it, but he totaled it to be $1,996.50. And all that money included protecting existing finishes as needed, power wash, removal of a dead tree. That's not itemized. Okay, that's just putting everything in bulk and adding it all up together. I don't know what he paid to fill a hole for a tree removal of a dead tree, including roots, how much that was individually, power wash individually. He just totaled everything up and added a big amount at the top.
You can itemize it if you want. We employ our own guys who go out there and help us. So like I did the garage myself, so I don't know how to total or itemize like my sweat equity.
Okay. Miss Brianna, if this is the way you're going to do your rentals, you're going to end up in court a lot of the times because this is a mess. The way you have done this security deposit and how your own company is paying for these repairs, but they're not itemized. So it's easy to add up an itemized list and add it all up almost to exactly what the amount is due when you're the one doing it. So you're going to end up in court a bunch of times if this is the way you're going to continue doing your deposit. This is not the way the deposit should be returned. This is not the way the deposit should be itemized. In fact, it's not even itemized. It's in a bulk with a total amount at the top. That's not itemized. All right. So you really, really need to reconsider how you're going about to do all of this. And on the same token, for the plaintiff, I have no proof that you have given them a forwarding address, which puts a big damper on your case as well. You're not entitled to 3 times as much because you don't even have proof that you gave them the forwarding address. So right now, we're only talking about $3,000. All right. 385 of it we know goes to garage doors. Anything else is unaccountable for because this 1996.50, I have no idea what that amount is. Anybody could just added that up, put it on there, and done anything. So this proposal doesn't help me whatsoever. So I'm giving everybody 2 minutes to explain their case before I make a decision based on the evidence that is proven and been provided to me. Go ahead, David and Haley.
Thank you, Your Honor. I believe we wrote down our reporting address on we didn't have a formal walkthrough in the beginning of an initial move-in, and we didn't at the end either. The paperwork they brought us was for another property that they owned, and it was kind of just handwritten in by our husband of things that he notated as we walked the property as our final walk. And we also didn't get a copy from him. He only had his copy. And then when he asked us for our address, I wrote it on that paper. I don't know if they have that final walk checklist with them, but we never received a copy.
Okay. And I guarantee you they're not going to help you prove your case. Go ahead, Brianna.
Obviously what you see, like we do a lot of the work ourselves. Like it's a lot of me taking the time and doing it myself. Like I said, we own a couple of properties. I try to do the best that I can. I've had tenants for years and years and years. I don't have any complaints. I did go above and beyond with trying to work with them. But at the end of the day too, like I had to, in the second lease, tell them to water the foundation because it was spreading so much because we're on clay. And I know the yard doesn't seem really important or the exteriors, but they are in the maintenance of the house, especially when you're on clay. So the first The first lease doesn't mention it. The second does. I messaged them plenty of times. I did bring fertilizer out. Their dog ate the fertilizer one time too, which I apologize for them because I didn't know that they were going to come out of the kennel. Like I was just trying to help because everything was dying. I reached out extensively to try to help. Like, as you can see within the text messages, I'm sorry for the delay. I did have a miscarriage in October and I just kind of just like let myself go. It was a surprise pregnancy as well. Like, not that that's any excuse, but I did try to do my best by y'all. I did communicate with y'all. I'm sorry it was not up to par. I will work on that to make that better. I do recognize my mistakes, but I did try to meet with you in the middle and offer $1,000 and it was denied during mediation. And there's no acceptance of the care that was taken outside of the home, not just inside.
All right. So at this point, I am going to go ahead and split the difference. Since both parties have made mistakes, both parties are not entitled to the full refund. So at this point, judgment for the plaintiff in the amount of $1,500. And everyone has 21 days to appeal it if they like. Thank you.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Thank you.